A woman deliberately cut off her own hair and carefully packed it into a bag. She then took out hair dye to change the color of her hair and eyebrows. Next, she sprinkled disinfectant on the floor to wipe away any traces of her presence. Finally, she picked up a hammer and viciously smashed it against herself. Everything she did was to make herself completely disappear and then frame her husband for murdering her. She had crafted a detailed plan 6 months ago. First, she maxed out her husband's credit card, purchasing various expensive luxury items and hiding them away, creating the illusion that her husband was facing a financial crisis. To solidify the murder charge against her husband, she bought a high-value insurance policy for herself, with her husband as the beneficiary. Then, she deliberately befriended a pregnant female neighbor and often complained to her about her husband's domestic violence. She even invited the female neighbor over to her house, and after the neighbor used the restroom, she collected her urine sample. With this urine sample, she could prove that she was pregnant. She used her pregnant status to package herself as a vulnerable person. Once everything was ready, on their wedding anniversary, after confirming that her husband had left the house, she staged a crime scene. To make the plan even more foolproof, she frantically wrote 300 diary entries. She started writing from the beginning of their passionate love, fabricating stories in the diary. She wanted the story to seem both real and cruel, portraying her husband as a good-for-nothing scumbag and herself as a long-term victim of abuse, constantly living in fear. Then she put the diary in the oven, burning it just right to create the illusion that her husband had destroyed evidence. She also deliberately left a series of clues for the police, initiating the perfect frame-up. Then she drove away alone, changed her appearance, and waited in a different place for her husband to be arrested for murder. Just as she had anticipated, the police gradually discovered many clues. The charge of murder was already pinned on Nick. No one expected that after his wife Amy's disappearance, Nick would smile smugly in front of the numerous media outlets. He warmly greeted everyone and even took photos cheek to cheek with beautiful women. Faced with his lover's disappearance, he didn't seem worried at all. But all sorts of strange behaviors instantly made Nick a headline in the news. The media extensively reported that he was a scumbag and his wife was still missing, yet he could appear so relaxed. To stabilize his image, Nick held a prayer meeting for Amy that very night. At that moment, the female neighbor suddenly appeared holding her child.
What did you do to your pregnant wife?
Let's find...
Tell that